Hey yo, welcome back to the Dugout and Beyond, and yeah, we had just had, of course, the Olympics finish up with, first of all, congrats to basically everyone that got there, because of course that's like one of the hardest things ever to do, to like basically top one in their country of athletic ability, besides for one person, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, this is just, there's of course going to be always a lot happening with the Olympics in some way, shape, or form. We had a whole lot of course, world records broken, Olympic records broken, and age limits broken in this. With first off, starting with the host country, France. It was of course in the city of Paris, but we had I'm going to say Felix Lebrun became the youngest ever Frenchman to win a bronze medal in anything, and he won it in table tennis. Well, people know it as ping pong, but yeah, this is just awesome. He's 17 years old. He won 2 bronze. I think it was in the doubles and the singles too. But yeah, that's just awesome. And again, basically top one in the world in something for his country. Then we have, of course, the other crazy stuff was the surfer here. We have the surfer's name is Gabriel Medina, a Brazilian surfer. Where, if you don't know, if you were not able to watch it, it took place in the island of Tahiti, where I think it's like near Australia. I actually don't know where it is, but it's definitely somewhere a little bit. Even though Paris right now is basically the same thing as Northern Hemisphere, so it's warm out right there. That's why Summer Olympics is there. But he's the man who was able to get a good shot. Where he was basically, it looked like AI. The shot looked like it was edited, shipped it up. But obviously there's the video of it where he is, of course, basically floating with his hand up in the air, and his surfboard's behind him. If you see it, it was basically like you had to have the shutter of the camera very, very fast, because it went up and then it came down almost a second later. So yeah, one really cool shot there. And then you of course have the Turkish shooter. Basically, if you see all the shooting, they have like all the eye stuff going up. They have the arm. I know it's like rifle, but this guy was in the shooter. Yusuf Dikic. He from Turkish shooter, not Turkey shooter. But yeah, he just went up there with glasses, just came up and just fired it, and yeah, basically everyone's like, oh, he looks so calm. He apparently said he looked like he had a storm going around in himself, like a lot of adrenaline. But yeah, that was just like the first week of it. It was crazy. A lot, of course, you're gonna have a lot of stuff go viral throughout the Olympics. I say, like, look, this just crazy stuff happened because you usually only see stuff that's happening in your country at that time. But yeah, we have, but yeah, we also have another crazy stuff is Simone Biles. Of course, she won with the all around in the gymnastics with her team. They won gold. Having her have 10 medals, third most in gymnastics, 3 gold. Next is Suni Lee, who also won gold as the team, and then the other 2 on that team also. But of course, those are 2 of the most famous, besides for the, of course, the one that lost her bronze, unfortunately, which kind of obviously sucks, because there was like something about the Romanian girl getting it in. But yeah, and crazy stuff here. Just obviously that's a whole crazy thing. I don't know if it doesn't seem like she's gonna get her medal back, which honestly is horrible, because if it was really over the time to put it in, it's like something else. Like in baseball, they have the pitch timer, and once that goes off, you're done. No matter what, you can't argue it. That's why it's actually like that, because they're rough, or the ump is not looking at it. They just feel it. All right, you're not doing it. All right, do it. We had, of course, Quincy Wilson became the youngest ever U.S. track person to run at 16 years old in the 4x400. Unfortunately, was replaced in the finals, but helped them actually qualify, even though he was second to last in that race. But yeah, that's awesome. He's gonna go to school now and be one of the craziest. That's gonna be awesome. He's just gonna wear it. But U.S. rowing won their first gold medal in rowing since 1960, which is insane. That's even before the last time that the U.S. had the Olympics in here. The Brazilian girl won the first gold medal, I think for the first time in Brazilian history for the gymnastics. Katie Ledecky's straight gold medals here in 800 freestyle, which that's basically just going like regular. I guess you could say the regular way, regular stroke. Scottie Scheffler wins gold medal in the golf, tying the course record for 62 in his last round, and that's awesome. I think that's his first ever gold medal there. And this is a crazy one. Of course, you have tennis is always going on. They just had the Grand Slam for Wimbledon a couple weeks ago, but a rivalry, I guess you can say now, is Djokovic beats Alcaraz to win gold in tennis, which is just awesome because I think he's won gold and bronze, silver and bronze before. So honestly, if we think about it, Djokovic might be on the last part of his career. He do the U.S. Open probably here, which is in a couple weeks in Flushing, New York, and yeah, they might be near the end of his career here, which is absolutely great. He's won so much before in his life, but yeah, then we of course have all of the medal coming out, and as you know, a lot of countries, of course, have hundreds of people, especially the U.S., China, Australia, a whole lot more here. Honestly, those are probably the two biggest here. So we had the final medal count. I think they took away from the U.S. as with the U.S. gymnast no longer has her bronze. So they took away, I think, a medal from us. That's still, the U.S. finished tied in gold to China, but most overall 126 to China's 91, which is insane. You have such a massive gap right there. You're almost exactly even with gold, bronze, and silver, with 40 gold, 44 silver, and 42 bronze. With China's, of course, 40 gold, which they swept in swimming. They swept in diving, and I think ping pong, except for having the French guy win there. But you have, it was kind of crazy because you have. It was at one point the U.S. was like 4 behind in gold, and then there was one day they were just shut up with the whole bunch. Of course, they swept in basketball with girls, men's and women's 5-on-5. Then they won a whole lot in track, a whole lot in swimming, especially on the women's side, with the U.S. women actually winning 65% of the gold this year for us technically, because I'm speaking basically for the U.S. But then it was kind of just a race to see if you could beat out China. But having 120, I didn't like. There are so many little things that you would medals in, and you had 126 gold medals in general. That's just insane. But yeah, every time I looked at it, you had just going up even more. But yeah, again, very, very impressive to see what people in this world can do here, especially when you, of course, train. Of course, we had the last Olympics, of course, 2021. It was supposed to be in 2020. I know what happened there. But yeah, it was definitely, I think, that a different feeling to this Olympics also this year, as I think for that reason, because seeing it on TV, the stadium just packed with people, just cheering for everyone. It was definitely a different experience, as of course the last one with basically I don't think anyone was there except for obviously coaches and teams and people doing the cameras, the media stuff for them. Yeah, it was definitely a much different experience than Tokyo's Olympics, who finished 3rd in medals because they finished. They actually technically would have finished about. I don't know. It's because of course they count the gold medals over anything else, which makes Japan jump to 3rd on this list because they had 20 golds, but they also had 45, and there was of course a bunch here. I'm already seeing like 3 or 4 different other countries have more medals in their country, but they of course have more golds. But yeah, this is just this Olympics definitely just had a much different feel this year than the last one. And I think the last one, of course, was 2018. No, that was 2016. 2016 was Brazil. So I think that was Rio. Yeah, Rio was in 2016. And that just felt like it's been forever. But yeah, now we have coming up in a couple years, in 4 years, is one of my actual favorite cities in the U.S., LA. We're going back to LA 28. And the last time was 40 years ago. So yeah, that was in, so 19... So it's actually crazy. This is the third time that we're going to have it here, 1932 and 1984. And yeah, this was, I think, if I do the math, yeah, 40 years ago exactly this year. So it's going to be even longer. It's going to be 44 at that point. But yeah, of course, we've had it there before, but it's going to be kind of different, definitely different, as, of course, the one thing that is not good about it, especially, although being a New Yorker, that kind of doesn't really annoy me, because I've dealt with a lot of traffic before in my life, but that's one thing that's going to skyrocket there, is going to be the traffic. Of course, it's going to be just a different thing, because in the last 40 years, LA has just been definitely built up a lot more than it is. It happens to every city. If you look at cities past and present, it's just a lot different. But yeah, this is going to be awesome to see. And also, we're going to have new sports and previous sports come back. This for LA 28, and but yeah, this is going to be awesome to see, as we had one new sport come in this year to the Paris Olympics, was the breakdancing. And for the most part, it was pretty cool. Like, you maybe see sometimes on social media or just somewhere people breakdancing and whatever and doing it, but you never really, I would kind of assume that you would probably never sit down and watch the actual breakdancing that you see, unless you go to an event that has breakdancing. But yeah, they actually, if you don't know this, they already got rid of breakdancing for LA 28 before this Olympics. So the girl from Australia saying that they were like, oh, they didn't really, they kind of spoke too soon. This was dealt with already. So besides the Australian woman kind of doing something I could do, honestly, I'm not even kidding. I did it on the floor, and I looked exactly like her for the most part. She moved her arm and she stood up. Like, I did almost what she did. Granted, there are definitely some moves that I would probably not be able to do in some way, but she finessed her way onto that stage. Congrats to her for finessing herself to basically 2-week free vacation there in Paris and enjoying the Olympics and saying, I was at the Olympics. But there was no way that, they already said that it was not because of her. But yeah, it was definitely very interesting to see that there and see how it worked out. Maybe what I wanted to see it in LA, maybe because, again, breakdancing actually started not too far away from me. In the Bronx, New York is where it really became a thing. But yeah, that was definitely just an interesting situation to have there. But with that one, we have new sports and previous sports come back to LA 28. We have flag football coming, we have squash coming out, we have lacrosse, men and women, and then softball and baseball coming out. But yeah, we have a bunch of these. Breakdancing is gone. And also, boxing is no longer going to be in the Olympics. Same thing, I think, with wrestling also, as they're having kind of, I guess you could say, an issue with how they can make sure people aren't taking, like, PEDs. But also, it would have been cool to see some of these things be in there, especially with just kind of being, bringing it up, because the last time they had it was like 1900 was when it came out. So boxing has been around in the Olympics for over 100 years at this point. And yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be. My one thing is, how are they gonna do the baseball? But I think that they could have a lot of college, because a lot of college kids are very, very good right now. You of course have Skeens, you have Wyatt Langford, you have all these guys coming really, really fast up into the league. But also with the basketball, we had the WNBA. You know, they had their All-Star break. Have actually I have said this in a previous video. They had of course the U.S. women's team playing against the All-Star team, which in hindsight they're both the All-Star team. That's why they're both playing there. But they also kind of extended the break for the WNBA, which they could kind of do with baseball with the MLB, where they have. I think it's like July something, middle of July, I think it's for the Olympics for LA 28. So that's kind of when the All-Star break is for MLB. But also, if you want, you can have college kids go into it, because they've been done with college for the last month or so at that point. And also, there's no season for them because we're still not back into school right now for college. And hey, maybe some of the guys that are going to get drafted play in that, obviously, because they're good enough. And they would still be, I think they could still dominate. But very interesting still. Yeah, we of course had basketball dominated this year for in both sides. Except for some games here, especially for the men's last 2 games and the women's last game for the 5v5. As the women won by 1 point to win the gold. And the men came back with Steph Curry just becoming God again for the last 2 games and lighting it up. Basically, I think he went like 18 for 30. I don't know, I don't remember what he went the last couple, but yeah, this is just, again, always just crazy stuff happening in the Olympics here. And yeah, Leon Marchand, another French man, for swimming, actually kind of became dominant and is kind of being thought of as the new Michael Phelps for how dominant he was. And you know, he actually, I think, swims his coach was Michael Phelps' coach. So this man swims for Arizona State University, where Michael Phelps, of course, swam, and he lives out there in Arizona. But yeah, this is really no newsflash. If you see Michael Phelps, he's actually cheering for Leon because he's basically their student to him. But yeah, the kind of rivalry that was between the Australians, I think, is kind of diminishing a little bit, as they did not finish. They finished decently in swimming, but I don't think they rivaled as much as they thought they were going to rival the U.S. in that. They definitely rivaled the U.S. men's more than the women, as women basically swept that. Katie Ledecky just outstanding again. Yeah, it's always, you always see crazy stuff. I think the men handball and volleyball won gold, bronze in that one. Then they won in handball, I think. I think they either won silver in that. Just things that you would normally not see or be a fan of for the most part. Like, people go with soccer. Soccer won for gold woman. I think the men got knocked out before the end of the group stage, I think, with that one. But yeah, this is another reason why the Olympics is great, as you just see things you would probably never normally see, and you're still locked into it. But here we have also some news for LA 28. We have Dr. Dre wants to be competing in archery, which, granted, if you've never done archery, go watch those videos from like a wide view. They are much farther away than you think they are. I think I've done archery before, and they were like 20 yards away, and I was pretty, honestly, not to toot my own horn, but I think I was pretty good. Usually pretty center, but it was not 70 feet away. I saw this for the first time like a couple Olympics ago, and I was like, oh my god, that's so much farther away than I thought. Like, they're shooting it like, granted, if you with the gun, you know, when you shoot farther away, you kind of angle it up so it has the time to come down and go target. But you think that they're just shooting straight? They got a little angle to that. That's traveling that much further than you really think. So But honestly, you obviously have to he has to qualify. He has to go probably to tournaments and stuff. But for him, he has probably the amount of time that he wants to spend on that, and he will. And for someone as rich as him, he could probably sit back and go to tournaments, go train, go sit with some professionals and really do it. And I think he actually said he wants to go and, by the time the Olympics happens, be at 90 feet. So if he's at 90 feet and he can do 70, that's obviously pretty cool. But yeah, we also have Colin Kaepernick. If you don't know who that is, if you are too young, honestly, at this point, you could probably be too young. He used to play in the NFL for a few years, and then he kind of got, basically, I guess you could say, blackballed out of it, as he had the whole controversy with him kneeling as he was on the Niners. Yeah, he played a number of years, and for someone that has not been there, and apparently he has the regimen that he has, granted, he still made a good amount of money in his life that a lot of people probably won't see in their lifetime. But this man apparently trains all day, and that's all he does. And he's like every single year at this time, he's always like, I'm ready to come back. Like, I can be backup for whatever. He just wants to go in. And he actually said he wants to be in flag football, which, sure, like, why not? You might actually have a chance of doing probably well in that if you are really doing what you're doing. And granted, he hasn't played in a real life game situation in a number of years at this point. I think it's like 8-9 years for him to not be playing professionally. But honestly, if he's playing with this and he has in his mindset knowing what it is like to play for pro, sure, why not go for it? Honestly, the only people that can stop him are the people that are the coaches and stuff. But yeah, again, a great Olympics. Games that you would probably never watch again until the Olympics happen again. Just like in the World Cup, how a lot of people out there don't watch a lot, even though it's one of the most popular sports in the world. There's people that don't watch soccer until the World Cup or the Olympics or just a big tournament in general. Hey, awesome to see, and I can't wait for LA 28. Again, I'm going to be able to understand basically everything that they're saying at this point because it's in that country. So I'm sure that a lot of people couldn't understand what they were saying in Paris, as a lot of it was in French. Wow, I did not think I would mess that word up like that. But yeah, so hey, this is good. I can't wait for the other one. So I'll see you next one. Peace.